Do you know what it feels like to be hunted? To feel shadows chasing you even when you're standing in the light? To carry the memory of screams that no one heard, and faces that haunted you in every mirror? That was me, in my 20s. And tonight, I will tell you everything. But before I go further, if you want to hear more stories like mine, stories that claw at the heart and shake the soul, then give this video a like and subscribe, because silence buries the truth, and my truth is something the world must never forget. I was young, beautiful, they used to say, full of laughter, full of life. I thought the world was open to me. But beauty sometimes is a curse. It draws monsters out of the dark, monsters who wear human faces. It happened on a night I thought was ordinary. I was walking home after visiting a friend, the streets quiet, the lamps flickering, and then the van. I can still hear the screech of its brakes, the slam of doors, the heavy footsteps rushing toward me. Before I could even scream, they grabbed me. Hands like iron, voices like snarls. My body froze in terror, my mind screaming no as my mouth stayed silent. They dragged me inside. The smell of sweat, smoke, and alcohol filled the air. My wrists were bound, my cries drowned by laughter. And then the horror began. I won't spare you the details, because to understand my revenge, you must understand my pain. One by one they tore me apart. My body, my dignity, my soul. I remember the weight of them, the cruelty in their eyes, the way they took turns like I was nothing more than prey. I begged, I cried, I prayed. But the only answer I got was more laughter, more violence, more pain. Hours passed, maybe minutes. Time meant nothing in that hell. When they were finished, they threw me out like trash, bleeding, broken, left to die on the side of the road. But I didn't die. No, I survived, and survival is a dangerous thing, because once the blood dried, once the bruises began to fade, something else grew inside me. Not just pain, not just fear, something darker, something sharper, a hunger for justice. No, for revenge. I knew their faces, I knew their voices, and I swore I would not rest until every one of them paid for what they did to me. When they left me on the side of the road that night, I thought I would never stand again. My body was shattered, but worse than that, my soul felt hollow. I lay there under the cold stars, bleeding into the dirt, whispering prayers that no one answered. And yet I survived. Someone found me, a stranger. A kind woman walking home. She carried me to safety, her tears falling on my face as I slipped in and out of consciousness. The days after were darker than the night itself. The shame, the whispers, the way people looked at me, not with compassion, but with suspicion, with judgment. What was she doing out so late? Did she bring it on herself? Their words were knives sharper than anything my attackers used. And my family? They wanted silence. Forget it, they said. Don't speak of it. Don't bring shame to our name. Shame? Me? I was the one violated. I was the one left for dead. But in their eyes, I was the stain. That silence, it almost killed me. Night after night, I woke up screaming, their laughter echoing in my ears. I would claw at my skin as if I could scrub away their touch. I avoided mirrors because I didn't recognize the girl staring back at me. Bruised, hollow, broken. But here's the thing about trauma. It changes you. It can kill you. Or it can forge you. And as much as I wanted to die, there was something inside me, small at first, then growing, that refused to let them win. I began to write every detail, their faces, their tattoos, the way they smelled, the way their laughter scraped against my bones. I recorded it all, not in fear, but in preparation, because deep inside I swore they would not walk away. Weeks turned into months. I healed, but not completely. Some wounds never close. Still I waited. I watched. I asked quiet questions in crowded places, and slowly I found them, one by one. Their names, their haunts, their weaknesses. Do you feel that chill? That's not fear anymore. That's hunger. Hunger for justice when the law stayed silent. Hunger for revenge when society looked away. And then, the first one. I saw him in the market laughing with his friends like nothing had ever happened. Like he hadn't torn a girl apart and left her for dead. My blood boiled. My hands shook. But I didn't run. I followed. Quiet. Patient. Revenge, you see, is not about rage. It's about patience. Precision. That night when he walked alone through the alley, he didn't see me in the shadows. He didn't hear me step behind him. He didn't recognize the broken girl he left to die. But when he did, when I whispered his name into his ear, the color drained from his face. And that was only the beginning. Do you know what it feels like to stare into the eyes of the man who destroyed you? And see fear? It's a strange kind of power, a terrifying kind. That night, in the alley, when I whispered his name into his ear, I watched the bravado fall right off his face. He turned, and for the first time he wasn't the predator. He was prey. I remember the stink of his sweat, the way his pupils widened when he recognized me. His lips parted, but no words came. He stuttered, stumbled back, trying to laugh it off. Hey, it was just a mistake, But I wasn't listening. I had listened enough that night in the van. His laughter still rang in my ears. Now it was my turn. My hands trembled, not from fear, but from rage. From the weight of every memory, every scream, every bruise. I grabbed him by the collar, slammed him against the wall. The sound of his skull against brick. It echoed through the alley like music to my broken soul. Do you remember me? I hissed. My voice didn't even sound like mine anymore. It was deeper, sharper, forged from pain. He nodded quickly, eyes darting, lips trembling. Please, don't. Don't? That word. That one word. Did he remember me saying it? Did he remember how I begged? How I cried? How I screamed until my voice cracked? And he only laughed harder. I pulled the knife from my pocket. Small, rusted, but sharp enough. His knees buckled. He begged again, tears mixing with sweat. For a second, I almost pitied him. Almost. But then I remembered lying in the dirt, blood pooling around me, praying for death because of what he had done, and pity vanished. I carved the truth into his skin, not quickly, slowly. Each cut a memory, each drop of blood a scream he once ignored. His cries filled the alley, but no one came, just like no one came for me that night. When it was over, I left him there, broken, bleeding, begging for mercy. He never gave me. And as I walked away, my hands still sticky with his blood, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Relief. But don't mistake me. Revenge doesn't heal. It doesn't erase the nightmares. It doesn't mend the scars. But it gave me something else. Power. A reminder that I wasn't just a victim. Not anymore. And once you taste that power, once you see a monster crumble at your feet, you don't stop at one. No. You hunt the rest. And I did. After that first night, I couldn't sleep. Not from fear, but from the rush. My heart pounded every time I closed my eyes. I kept hearing his cries, seeing his face when he realized I wasn't dead. It haunted me, and yet it fueled me. There were 4 of them. 4 men who stole my body, my peace, my innocence. 1 was already broken. 3 remained, and I promised myself they would all pay. I started with the second one. He was the loudest that night, the one who laughed as I begged. I learned he worked in a garage on the edge of town, fixing cars, living like nothing had ever happened. Isn't that the cruelest thing? That monsters walk among us, smile at their neighbors, joke with friends, while their victims rot in silence. I watched him for weeks. His routine, his habits, where he went after work. And one evening, when the sun dipped low and shadows swallowed the street, I followed him. He cut through a quiet alley, humming to himself, and when he saw me step into the light, his humming stopped. He froze. Recognition flickered in his eyes. "You," he whispered. "Yes, me," I said. My voice was calm, almost too calm. That scared him more than a scream ever could. He tried to run, but I was faster. I shoved him hard, and he crashed against the metal bins, groaning. I pulled the same knife from my pocket, its blade still stained from the first. His eyes widened, his chest heaved, and he shook his head. "Please, I didn't mean. Those words lit a fire in me. Didn't mean to ruin me. Didn't mean to leave me bleeding in the dirt. Didn't mean to laugh while I prayed for mercy. I cut him too. But this time it wasn't rage guiding my hand. It was precision. Cold. Calculated. Every mark I left on him was a reminder. A signature. A message. I remember. I will never forget. His screams echoed down the alley, bouncing off the walls. But the world stayed quiet, just like it did when I needed help. When he collapsed, shivering and sobbing, I whispered into his ear, "This is only the beginning." And then I disappeared into the night. The third one. He was different. He wasn't loud. He wasn't cruel in words. But his silence that night, it was worse. He didn't stop the others. He didn't say no. He was a shadow. And shadows are sometimes the deadliest. He thought he was safe. Thought I wouldn't find him. But I did. Oh, I did. And each time I struck, I felt a little more of myself return. Not innocence. That was gone forever. But strength, voice, control. I had been their victim. Now I was their reckoning. But revenge. It's a dangerous fire. It consumes more than just your enemies. It starts to eat you too. And I felt it. Every night I came home, blood on my hands. I looked in the mirror and wondered, am I still me? Or have I become something else entirely? But by then it was too late to stop. The path was carved. One last man remained. And with him came the darkest night of all. The last one. He was their leader. The one who planned it. The one who laughed the loudest. Hurt me the most. And left me to die like garbage on the roadside. His face haunted my dreams more than the others combined. If the first 3 were wounds, he was the infection that poisoned me. I found him months later. He was living well, too well, drinking in bars, charming women, throwing money around like his hands weren't stained with blood. I watched him from the shadows, night after night, rage growing inside me like a storm. But this one, I couldn't rush. I had to make him feel it, every ounce of pain, every ounce of fear. One night, when he stumbled drunk into the alley behind the bar, I stepped out. He squinted at me, confused at first. Then his face twisted into a smirk. He remembered me. Oh, he remembered. Well, well, he slurred. The little whore survived. Those words split me in half. My body shook. My breath caught. And for a second I almost collapsed under the weight of it all. But then something inside me snapped. I lunged. The knife pressed against his throat before he could even blink. His smirk faded, replaced by real fear for the first time. I pushed him against the wall, the cold steel digging into his skin. "Do you remember?" I hissed, my voice trembling with fury. "Do you remember what you did to me? How you laughed, how you left me to die?" He tried to laugh it off, but his voice cracked. It was just fun. We didn't mean. That phrase again. My grip tightened. "No," I whispered. "You meant every second of it." I dragged him down the alley, deeper into the shadows where no one could see. He fought, cursed, spat at me, but I was stronger now. Pain had made me strong. I didn't kill him quickly. No, I made him live his last moments the way I lived mine, in terror. I whispered in his ear the prayers I once prayed, the cries I once cried. I made him feel what it's like to beg and know no one is coming. And when I was done, when his body lay still in the dark, I didn't feel joy. I didn't feel peace. I felt empty. Because revenge doesn't heal you. It doesn't bring back who you were. It just leaves you standing in the ruins, with blood on your hands and a hole in your chest where hope used to live. I walked home that night shaking, my clothes torn, my knife heavy in my pocket. I looked in the mirror, and for the first time, I didn't recognize myself at all. Not as the girl they broke, not even as the woman who survived, but as something in between, scarred, haunted, dangerous. And that's when I realized I had killed them all, but they had killed me first. Long pause. The grandmother's eyes fill with tears as she looks straight into the audience. So, if you're listening to me, my dear, know this. Pain will try to define you. Anger will try to consume you. Revenge will tempt you with its fire. But in the end, the only true survival is finding a way to live beyond it. I didn't. I let the darkness win, and I carry that weight every day of my life. Her wrinkled hands tremble as she clasps them together. Her voice softens to a whisper. Don't become me. Don't let your scars turn you into the monster they created. Choose life. Choose light. Because once you step into the shadows, there's no way back. Her eyes glisten. Her voice cracks. But she finishes. That is the story of how they broke me, how I fought back, and how, in the end, I lost something far greater than they ever took.